Hello and welcome to a map review. Now we're going to be looking at this map here, which is Pine Cove Farm Seasons version from Stevie. We actually reviewed this one already, but I didn't release it because there was actually an update to the map. So Stevie released this a couple of weeks ago now, and then he's done a subsequent release of this map, same version, it's just fixing some problems. So we're going to jump straight in and basically have a look at this map. So okay, so usual stuff I will enable. I'll tell you a little bit about this. This is a seasons compatible version of the Pine Cove Farm map. Basically, this version is update 2 of this map, of the version that he's released with seasons compatibility. Now, this map is also dirt and terrain mod ready. So it has it all built in. It's just not enabled. Now, there are two ways you can enable this. You can modify the actual map data files and add a couple of things which will turn it on. Or alternatively, if you have the Snetterton's farm map, if you combine this map and that map and load them both at the same time when you're loading, so in the mod selection screen that we just clicked through, if you have it in there and you just click enable that map, it will turn it on. So there are two ways to do this. Let's say the dirt and terrain control mod is basically the one that adds mud and ground response and all that kind of stuff. So it is actually quite a cool one to actually have enabled. So this is I say a update 2 of this version. So there's actually two updates, two versions prior to this 1.5 MP that we're looking at. And yeah, so let's just kind of jump straight in. So this is a seasons compatible map. This is the bog standard Pine Cove Farm map, as you can see from the map view here. I'm actually just gonna quit out this a second, just advance time a little bit because I want to get daylight. But whilst we talk about what's on the map, we'll kind of have some daylight happen in the background. So it is a season compatible version of Pine Cove Farm. It has various changes, so Stevie's updated it to include some of the latest things that he has on his maps. So new models, a couple of new things around the BGA and so on. We'll quickly look around the areas that have changed and probably just stray into some of the other areas. But effectively, the core structure of the map is the same as the original Pine Cove Farm. So you have your farm area here, sort of in the east. You own the same fields, field 5, 3 and 18. Those are sort of the same as the original. You have the logging area up here to the northwest. You have the same field structure. You've kind of got the BGA area down here. You've got the big placeable space over here on the west. You've got a lumber yard here and a sawmill and placeable space over here. We'll quickly have a look around and then basically kind of see the things that are different. So we used to use this map kind of whilst I was streaming earlier on, and it's one I played for a while. I might actually replay this with the new features because it does actually have some new stuff which is quite cool. So something to note, this map is a little bit resource hungry. I've noticed it can be a little bit slow, but I think it's just so much going on this map. It was quite a heavy map in the first place, but once it's loaded and things are going, it's actually okay. So we have standard fruits plus multi-fruit of oats, rye, spelt, millet, sorghum, and triticale. I can never pronounce that right. I think I'm pronouncing it right, but I'm not sure. So those are the standard fruits that we've got on the map. In terms of, I say fields, we own 5, 3, and 18. Everything else is basically to pick up yourself. In terms of Sell points, there are loads. There are over 20 sell points on this map, probably too many to sort of even look at. The main things to note, these are the sort of production items that are produced on this map, and they all of these auto sell. So you all have a sell point where they're actually produced that you can then sell them. We'll look at the vehicles in a minute. So one of the things that Stevie's done on these seasons compatible maps is he's giving you some animals. Now it's really important to remember that with these animals, they will die with the seasons mod enabled. If you do not feed them, they will die. So if you are playing this with seasons, get these fed as soon as possible. Now you will get food to do this. So one of the things, we'll just nip back to here. Stevie has added a nice helping of pig food, straw, grass, and so on. So you should be able to feed the animals easily. You've also got forage for TMR for your cows and so on. So you've got plenty of food to feed them for the first 3 or 4 days, essentially 3 or 4 game days. So you should be able to feed them until you start producing food from the fields that you own. The grass is easy. You can cut that in like 2-3 days with seasons, and everything else you're gonna have to build up to. And so effectively you can feed your animals, and it's, I highly recommend you do it pretty much first task when you start playing this map. So that's the animals. Storage capacity, we've got 5 million. We've got quite a lot of storage on this map, which is cool. I wouldn't recommend you tip because it slows things down. It gets a little laggy. So I'm just going to stop this because we've kind of advanced on enough. It's a nice daylight here. So there was an issue with, and I think it's actually still an issue a little bit. Yeah, I have a sneaky feeling it's still an issue. I'm just going to bring up the seasons mod, and I'm just going to so when I tested this last time, we didn't have any of the seasons textures for the trees and such, like for summer and spring. We did have them for winter essentially because there's none, and we did have them for autumn. For some reason we don't have them. Oops, wrong thing. Oh, in fact, we don't have them for that either. So let me just double check, because this is either a number or a... Okay, this doesn't seem to be the right textures. So that is an issue that I've noticed. So we are suffering a little bit of lag, actually, because we're not moving as quickly as we should be. So here we have Pine Cove Farm. Pretty standard thing. We've got our farmhouse. We should check out our vehicles first. Let's check out the vehicles. So you get quite a lot of equipment with Pine Cove Farm. We have a Vulture N series, a Puma CVX, Massey Ferguson, the Puma CVX is case, Massey Ferguson MF 8700, a Fendt 900 Vario. We have a Vulture S series. We have a bucket loader for a front loader. We have a wheel loader, a JCB 43 5S, and a log fork to go with that. We have a Phoenix 6x6 aggro truck, and we have a Lizard TX 415 barrel core. We have a CR1090 from New Holland combine and 2 headers. We have one for corn and we have one for normal wheat and so on. The 45-foot header, we have the big wide one, and we have this guy which is a 9-meter header. We have a Joskin Dracar 8600 trailer. We have a Flegel ASS 298 trailer as well. Both of these are tipper trailers. We have a Knockerling all-rounder cultivator. We have a Lemkin Titan 11 plough. We have a Horsch Pronto 9 DC seeder. This is a direct seed seeder. We have a Horsch Maestro 12 SW. The Horsch Pronto 9 is your kind of normal fruits. The Maestro is sunflowers, sugar beets, corn, and soybeans. We also have an Amazon Condor 15001. That's also a direct seed seeder as well, and that does your standard fruits. This is the wide 50-meter seeder. So it's the biggest seeder that's not in the Big Bud DLC pack. We have a Brendel F2 WS4000 fertilizer spreader. We have an Amazon UF 1201 sprayer. So both for fertilizer. We have a few weights here. We have an assortment. We have a Pottinger Novacat 301 ED mower and a Novacat X8 ED mower. So this one goes on the front. These two this goes on the back. We have a Pottinger Hit 12.14T Tedder. We also have a Lely Hibiscus 1515 CD Profi, which is a windrower. So basically you've got enough equipment here to cut some grass, make some hay, and pick it up. Because you have here the Tervase CFS 5201DO Strootman forage wagon. So next up we have a Big Bale 1290 from New Holland. With that we have the Arcusin FSX 63.72 Bale trailer. So this guy's a square baler, and this guy picks up square bales, stacks them into nice stacks of 16, and you can pick them up at your leisure later. We have a pickup truck. We have a Mez 500 leveler. We have a Joskin Aquitrans 7300S. We have a ST65T stump grinder, a timber runner from Flegel trailer. We have a Pond Scorpion King. We have a Karcher power washer, and we also have a greenhouse. Now, we have the standard greenhouses that Stevie puts on the map, which basically make food and sell them. We have the greenhouse, which is a standard farming sim item, which is a placeable. You give this one fertilizer and water, and it basically gives you money, just like the wind energy converter, which gives you money. These are kind of two things that Stevie's put on there to give you a nice little income. So that's that. This is the farmyard. So main thing about the farmyard is we have silage clamp here. We have your cows feeding trough there. Milk pickup is just over there on the left. Now we have a TMR mixer here. We have a silage fermenter, and we have the other feeding troughs for grass and water. Slurry pickup point, and that's kind of pretty much it for your cows. That's your kind of self-contained cow area. This is the tomato greenhouse that we just saw as a placeable. Water is free on this map, and you've got a water pump there. And we have here, we have the pigs. So all the animals are pretty close together. So we've got a pig food mixer here. I've got a little shed next door. Opposite that we have the pigsty. We've got feeding troughs on the side here, and obviously you got straw and so on over here. Got a couple more storage sheds. Now over here, as you can see in a bit of the distance, that is the sheep pasture. We have the feeding troughs there for the sheep. So the grass is on the left and the water's on the right. We have the wool sale point, and spawn point is just over here. So this is a sale point that we're just looking at there, and then this is where the bales come of wool. And we've got another shed. This gate here is the entrance to field 18, and this is where you can sort of do your grass, and you've got your mowers are sort of set up here as well, ready for you to go. Actually, I think this is actually set up so you can... Oh yes, this is actually set up so you can fit the whole thing on the front of a tractor. So this is kind of the farmyard area just up here. We're just going to nip down here. Says running. So storage. This is the silo, Stevie special silo. This is what you've got in it. As you can see, you've got quite a lot of everything. You've got enough there to feed your animals, and if you want to sell, but to be honest, I'd use all of that for feeding the animals. The old Pine Cove Farm map used to have a single seed master, and it used to be just here. We've actually now got two, and there was a shed as well associated with that, and that's actually now gone. So that's one of the changes that Stevie's done. No real changes up in that direction. The other change that you'll notice on the yard from the old Pine Cove Farm map is used to have these storage silos for stuff. They were the big white ones. Now these are changed to his new ones, which he's put in the shed. So these are the kind of new colourful silos. You've got seed, you've got fertilizer, both liquid and solid, and you've got diesel. And what he's done as well is he's given you a little bit in each for you to fill up from and so on. So you've got a bit of diesel, you've got a bit of seed and fertilizer and so on. So you've got kind of a starting point for each of these, so you can fill up. The other thing that Stevie's done is this storage shed here on the right. It's kind of blocked off now at the end because he's moved the fuel refill point to the end here. It used to be over near the seeds and fertilizer, which we'll go and look at in a minute, but this used to be on the other side of the farm. This was a really good drive-through point for semi-trailers. So got the sheds. These pretty much haven't changed. I think they might have changed colour, but they haven't changed that much. This is where your vehicles spawn when you reset, and then you've got this shed up here, and what we have here is more equipment, and then down the side here we have the seeds, the fertilizer that you pay for effectively. I got a strange feeling there's also pig food here, but I'm not sure. Now the other thing, this used to be the vehicle customization shop, but that has moved. As far as I can tell, that's moved. I'm not sure where it's moved to, but it has moved. I think it's moved down towards the main sort of area of the yard down here. But he's moved that away from that area. The power wash is there. I think that's actually also moved as well. Now, I can't remember. I did actually see this the other day when we looked. Ah, yes, it's here. So the customization shop has moved here. It used to be around the back there. So that's the kind of farmyard. The flour mill hasn't changed. This is pretty much standard thing. Drop off grains and you get flour, and it sells automatically. The next thing is the animal dealer. Again, not changed. Same location. Nothing really has changed here. There is a big change over here. Merville's used to be where the greenhouses were, and it used to be a sell point for fertilizer and a sell point for manure and so on. Now, this has changed quite a bit. What he's done here is dropped in a seed master. You still got the sell point in the background there, but you've got a compost master here. You have a water pump here because there was no water pump before. You got a separator facility, which he basically takes in manure and straw and gives you solid manure. And then you got your greenhouses. The greenhouses essentially were in the same place last time. He's put a fence around this, and essentially the spawn point is pretty much the same. He's moved the house into the back corner there, but essentially it's pretty much the same. He's actually lost the compost sale point that was here as well. So this is the kind of the main differences on this area. So one of the things that we used to do is we used to have to run compost from the down here to this point. Now what's happened now is there is now a compost master on site here. So effectively this is all self-contained. So there's now two compost masters on the map. The reason for that is we'll go over to the BGA next. So the BGA's changed quite a bit. First off, this shed is in a different place. So this is where the old biodiesel separator used to be. Effectively, that's moved. That shed's now in its place. Your digestate is still in the same place. That's there. The tipping point for input to the BGA is still there. I think that's opened up a little bit as well, but I'm not sure. We still have the side clamps down this side. Just here, there used to be the silos. Now these have changed. The silos are now in that green shed over there. We'll look at that in a minute. What we have here is now we have the biodiesel separator. This is the new version that Stevie uses with the slightly different tanks and so on. So that's there. And then we have the straw manure separator here. So you get liquid manure and straw, and you get solid manure. Now, the other thing that's happened here as well is the Compost Master used to be on the site next door. He's actually got rid of the separating fence, and you literally now drive straight through. What we've got here is now we do have this shed. Now this is again the shed with the storage silos inside. So we've got diesel, we've got solid and liquid fertilizer. And essentially, you drop them off inside and you pick them up outside. Now, in opening this up, he's moved the Compost Master around. He's turned it around. It now faces to the other way. So we've got Compost Master here. We've got the compost sale point over there, and we've lost a couple of storage sheds that were here as well. So it's now a big open space for stuff. So effectively, he's changed the orientation of the Compost Master. You no longer have to drive on the road to deliver compost to the BGA. The nursery hasn't changed. It's still here. You give it manure and compost and water, and you get trees, baby trees that sell. The town hasn't changed that much either. You still have the bakery. That's a sell point. Wherever it is, here we go. We still have the milk sale point here. We still have the fuel sale point and the spinnery. We're not going to look at those, we don't need to. This little area here has changed a little bit. So we now have a different storage shed here with the silos, like we have back at the farm, which has the 4 silos. He has tweaked it a little bit. We do have a Seed Master still, and it's still a sell point for slurry. So this little area is still very similar to the old version. It's just got a new shed. The shop's still in the same place. The other major change is Compost Sales here, I think, has actually now got no, it's actually still the same actually. This is still the same. If we just check, I swear some of this has changed as well. So the sell point for straw is there. We've got a Seed Master here. We've also got another storage shed with the silos. So those are cropped up all over the place as well. We've also got a manure sell point as well here, which I think is new. The grain elevator up here is a standard sale point. Right on the end of field 7, it's pretty much the same as before. We'll take a look over here. I think this has not changed. I think this has still got a storage area here for the train system, just here. We will go up to the sawmill. Sawmill is pretty much the same, standard sawmill. We've got a placeable yard and the woodland up there. So this is placeable space, quite often used by people who want to run logging operations up here, and they kind of can drive up into this area here. Next stop is here. This is where there's been a bit of a change as well. So this has kind of had a lot of stuff tweaked and changed, bit of clutter removed from the yards to open up some space, but also a shed added and so on. So Taffy's tables and Bill's joinery, I think this one is, or it's now called Bill. Yeah, these are the two kind of drop off logs and get money production. At the end there, you can see that's the board production. you drop off wood chips and boards, and you get wood chips out and boards. Sorry, drop off wood chips and logs, and you get boards and wood chips out. This is the Railyard. It's got a rail system, 2 loops, kind of like the old Goldcrest. Now, this little shed has the equipment in. It has a diesel storage tank. It's next to the entrance. We've got a new diesel model here. Now, the wood chipper, which is here, has changed its location. It used to be just here, kind of put down the side of the railway line here. It's kind of moved into the middle of the yard. It's actually a little, I don't actually like this position. I think it's actually a pain in the ass, because when you're bringing a lorry in, you want to get it over there, and this is a tight corner. So I actually don't like this position, but you know, you could always move it, I suppose. But essentially, the old position, I actually really liked the old position. It was a good spot for it. Jeebs mill over there is the same as before. It's a sell point for pretty much everything. So that's kind of all the major sell points really here on the map. I say this is seasons compatible map, so this has been set up to allow the various seasons to work. Now the weird thing is, as I kind of mentioned, the some of the textures aren't working, and I'm not sure why. They didn't work when I tested it last time, and I was hoping they'd be fixed in this. Obviously the pine trees are actually going to be fine, the sort of pine trees and the conifers and so on, but the deciduous trees don't seem to have leaves. They seem to be perpetually in winter, and I'm not sure why. So yeah, so that's kind of the thing. So what we'll just do is go back to the farmyard, and I will just get in a vehicle, any vehicle, because I just want to get up in the air. So I'm just going to get up in the air, and I want to sort of look down on the farm. We're going to play with the snow mask and just see what's what. So a couple of things. I'm going to try and set this seasons. I really don't understand why. Not sure why actually. So I'm going to add snow. I'm going to add a layer of snow and just let it kind of propagate on the map. Hopefully it takes a minute or so to appear. You can kind of see it scrolling across. Just so we can take a look down, so you can see snow's pretty much covered everything. It obviously doesn't go into the structures. It kind of overlaps a little bit, but you know, it's kind of in around the doorways and so on. We can add a couple more layers. It is actually set up to allow multiple layers. Add 2, 3 layers. And if we can just see, you can just see there, it's kind of, you can see the depth now. I will just drop down. Yep, you can see the depth. And if we actually drove a vehicle forward, you'll see the tracks and everything else that occur in the snow. So that's cool. And so yeah, we've got snow on the map and everything else. So this is Pine Cove Farm. It's pretty much the same as the old Pine Cove Farm, with a few sort of cleanup tweaks and a little bit of rejigging to certain areas. It's got the snow mask. I'm not sure why the seasons are not showing up properly. I say the supply visual seasons does not exist. I'm not sure why that's not showing up. Now, what I'm actually thinking, it's possibly because there's a missing texture, or you need to have something else in place for the texture to show up. I would probably check and read the details in in Stevie's description, just to make sure, for making sure that these things are actually there. So that is pretty much it. If you've kind of found this useful, please hit the like button, and if you want to see more from our series, please, our map reviews and everything else, please hit the subscribe button. And with that, thank you all for watching. Have a great day, and see you guys next time.